So here we have the E-mini S&P 500 futures right now, and they've been sliding lower. And this is in part fueled by what's going on in the banking industry, reactions to earnings, and more. So I get a question a lot, which is when the broad market, right, is sliding lower like this, is that a time to exit all your positions? Is that a time to wait and buy the dip? Well, I'm gonna take you inside my latest stock picks, just a little sneak peek, and show you what I've been recommending to my members in these conditions. So if you're new here, I'm Hema Reddy. I use price, time, and momentum to boost my trading and that of my tribes. And again, I'm gonna give you a little sneak peek into some of this week's stock picks, which are more of a defensive position, okay? Protecting positions on a few stocks. So let me show you what I mean and pull up an individual stock chart. All right, so here's the chart of Apple, okay? It is in the sector XLK when you look at the State Street sector ETFs for the S&P 500. And I listed it as persistent uptrend category this week. What does that mean? Well, the full definition is in the Skinny in the Markets portal with examples and more. But overall, what this means is this is a stock that I wouldn't necessarily short now. But if you're not already long, I wouldn't continue to go long. And that is in part because of two things. One, which is pretty obvious, is this resistance we've met that we're sort of churning around, okay? So these vertical lines here, they're not representative forecasts. That's what you're used to maybe in seeing my videos here. These are my color annotations for myself for how I'm categorizing different stock picks. So this sort of muted dark red tone means I call this a persistent uptrend. So let's zoom in to the more recent action so you can see what I mean here at that trend line, but then also in conjunction with my RSI power zones. Now, this is my favorite momentum indicator. It's the only indicator I've had on my charts for many years, and it's all I need in terms of indicators on the bottom of the chart. And what I'm seeing here is that there's a disconnect that has happened in the past few days between the price action on Apple and the RSI power zones down below, suggesting again that it's not necessarily time to go short, but I would not continue to buy this stock. Now, let's add a little booster to this. Well, where would we place a stop if we were managing a long position? So if you were long from anywhere back here and you were swing trading Apple, I would take my eyeballs from the right side. I would go to the left, there's a high here, go to the left, there's a low here, and then there's a high here. So this tells me that this is the most recent price low, price with a capital P. And if you put a stop below 159.78, the low from April 12th, if you have a long position prior, it will keep your position safe while the uptrend might resume, but it will also minimize your amount of loss of your profit in case the market takes out this level, okay? So persistent uptrend is a label I give on my stock picks so that my traders who get those picks know, hey, these stocks are overextended, probably shouldn't be buying them anymore, and I'm just showing you a little extra layer here of where you could put the protective stop. So let's look at a couple more so you can get the idea of applying the same type of concept in other stocks and other sectors. All right, so our next ticker to look at is AON. This is in the XLF financial sector. Now, notice this price trend higher looks a little different than the Apple chart, right? It's kind of straight up to the right. So you might be wondering why, Hema, why would this be a persistent uptrend category? Well, this has a minor pattern on the RSI power zones versus price that is telling me that the upside momentum in it has weakened. And this therefore creates a situation where if we were going to put a protective stop to manage this trade, it would be a little bit further away from the price. So this is a little bit more of an extended market such that if you really truly give it room to pull back and want to stay in the uptrend with a long position, you're going to have to put your stop a little further away. So same exercise, okay? Start with the current candlestick, work your way back. This is a high, work your way back. This is a low. Now this is a very short-term low, and only 2 bars on either side, but look at this low back here, okay, from April 10th. It's a little bit more significant. So if you want to stay within the greater uptrend on AON, but still have a protective stop somewhere, it should be below 317.48. Now this isn't the stop that keeps the most money. This is what I call the logical stop. It's the stop that keeps you within the larger trend move, okay? All right, let's look at one more so you can get a full kind of set here to get this concept down. So here we have ticker SYK, and this is in the healthcare sector, XLV. And you might look at this, if you know your RSI power zones, and wonder why I'm considering it overbought. Well, this is a more classic approach to a specific overbought zone. And again, the way the RSI power zones work, it depends on what the price trend is and how you use the indicator. So where would we place a protective stop here if you were long from here or here or here? Well, again, doing the same exercise, I'll give you a second to do it on your own, okay? Yep, I would put a protective stop beneath this low here from April 13th at 288.81 because that is the low that is shaping the broader up move. So I hope this was a helpful look for you at the various ways that a market can be overbought, particular ticker, a commodity, a big index, doesn't matter. All of that displays with price and momentum in a similar way. And if you're in my tribe, keep an eye out. If you haven't dug into your RSI Power Zones training, I'm going to be doing a special training on that at the end of this month into next month. You got to keep an eye on your email to get the exact dates and more. And those of you who have your RSI Power Zones and are using it, keep an eye on it. It's really going to help you navigate some of what's unfolding here, especially as we await the next Fed meeting and more economic data. Catch you on the inside.